Ever catch yourself drawing a blank? Trying to, recall if you used your dog's name or maybe your old childhood pet's name for like the 10th online account this week?
Happens to the best of us.
Right. But it gets you thinking, like, what happens to all that stuff, those accounts, our digital lives, when we can't remember the passwords anymore?
It's the digital elephant in the room, isn't it? Most of us avoid it. But it's a real and growing issue, digital inheritance. We're good at dealing with the physical stuff houses, heirlooms, but our online lives, banking, crypto wallets, even social media.
And that's precisely where today's deep dive leads us. We're looking at Charonium, an Austrian startup. Trending topics feature them. They've got a really interesting take on this whole digital afterlife thing.
Yeah, and the interesting part is they're not just stopping at like a digital will. It's a whole ecosystem they're building for managing like your whole digital legacy.
Exactly. So not just for when you're gone.
Right. Take their charonium fragments, physical metal plates. You can store your private keys on them.
For those who might not know, private keys are kind of like,
The master passwords to your crypto, other digital assets. And they've connected this with NFTs. So you've got a physical thing right there in your hand for something as abstract as a private key. Starts at 79 euros.
clever, huh? They could have gone fully digital, but
There's something about holding that metal plate. It's like a
yeah, like a physical anchor for this digital kind of scary thing.
it's a way to ease people in, make them
Yeah.
comfortable.
Speaking of clever, they've also got this Obelisks project. It's based on the ancient Greek tradition of the death coin.
Yeah, the coin you'd bury with the deceased to pay their way to the underworld.
Wow.
Charonium's made it a limited edition thing, copper, silver, or gold.
Yeah.
Each one's linked to an NFT.
So you're bridging this ancient practice with like cutting-edge Web3 stuff.
Right.
But there's more to it than just, being novel. It ties into their whole business model. They offer tons of services, asset recovery, management for individuals. Then there's their software for lawyers and notaries even.
Yeah, it's a whole ecosystem. And these Obelisk coins are just one piece of it. Their Charonium Legacy software is another. It's won awards even. It's a platform for managing all your digital assets no matter where they are.
It's like a digital will, but
With more, way more, like you said, ongoing management.
so your digital like's in order before. Well, But here's where it gets even more interesting. They're developing this underverse thing, and they've got their own STYX token. Now, before you go thinking it's just another Web3 buzzword,
You've got to acknowledge the healthy skepticism around these terms, but Charonium's different. They're all about transparency and being compliant with regulations, particularly the EU's MiCAR regulations.
now, you might be asking, why should I care about some EU thing? Well, MiCAR stands for Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation. Basically, it's there to protect consumers in the crypto world and make the whole thing more stable. And that's important because
It brings legitimacy. The crypto world for a long time felt like, the Wild West. MiCAR is a step towards changing that. It's about trust.
and Charonium's right there with them. It's like they're saying, look, we're not just playing by the rules.
We're helping to make them.
Exactly. Speaking of which, let's dig into this underverse a bit. The article mentioned a game, Hades Key. Any idea what that's about?
Details are still kind of, under wraps, but it doesn't sound like your typical online game. It's like Charonium wants to create a digital space where users can interact with their legacy even after.
Wow. Okay, so blurring the lines between virtual and the afterlife.
Right, a digital realm tied to, well, inheritance and memory.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So where does the STYX token fit into all of this?
$1 million question, right? Is it just another crypto token, or does it have real use in this underverse? I guess we'll see how they integrate it. Will it be for like in-game transactions, accessing special features, maybe even voting rights in the ecosystem?
So it's not just about buying and selling it. You'd actually have a say in this digital afterlife they're building.
Exactly. It's about control. And the fact that it's all happening within MiCAR's framework. Well, it means they're taking this seriously. This isn't just about building some cool digital space.
It's about making it sustainable, protecting users and their assets, in life and in death.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the tech, the regulations, this underverse. The article also mentioned some other interesting stuff they're working on, Eternal, for one. This one sounds straight out of sci-fi.
Eternal is all about communication beyond the grave. Imagine being able to transfer messages, memories, even your values to future generations, like a curated digital time capsule, but accessible long after you're gone.
It's like taking those letters you leave for your kids to find to a whole new level.
Yeah.
But how do you guarantee those messages stay true? Like, how can you be sure the tone, the emotion, the essence of it all stays the same digitally years later.
That's the question, isn't it? Can you really replicate those human nuances in a digital space? But it shows you people want digital immortality. They want their presence felt even after they're gone. It's a thorny issue ethically, practically, but Charonium's not shying away from it.
And then there's living urn. Well, it's a lot to unpack.
Biodegradable urns have been around for a while, but Charonium's approach is different. They're using things like sawdust and mycelium, that's the root structure of fungi, to create urns that not only, decompose, but might actually help new life grow.
So it's not just about returning to the earth. It's about being part of the cycle, even symbolically. And given how much we talk about our environmental impact these days.
It's a good reminder that even in death, there's regeneration, a chance to leave something positive behind.
It fits with their whole approach, really, making us rethink death in this digital age. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. We've talked about their vision, their commitment to regulation, but how does Charonium fit into the bigger picture? The crypto market, I mean. They mentioned my car a bunch, but what does that actually mean? For them, for users.
It's a sea change, Crypto for so long has been this. Well, kind of like the Wild West, right? Full of potential, yeah, but also a bit of a free-for-all. Now, my car, it's like we're entering a new phase.
Or where things are getting structured.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not about, just throwing a bunch of rules around. My car is about building trust, making the whole market more legitimate. And by playing by those rules, Charonium's showing they're serious.
They're in it for the long haul.
Exactly.
Okay, but what does it really mean for, like, the everyday person? Someone thinking about using Charonium?
It's peace of mind. Knowing your stuff, your assets are handled properly, within the law. My car's got standards for transparency, for security. It's good for Charonium, sure, but it's really good for the people using their services.
So protecting the user, which, in turn,
protects the whole system, the entire crypto ecosystem.
It's kind of amazing, actually.
Yeah.
We started with this simple question, what happens to our digital stuff when we die? And we've covered digital inheritance, the afterlife, eco-friendly funerals. We even talk about EU regulations.
It just goes to show you our physical lives and our digital lives, totally woven together now. And Charonium's right there on the front lines. They're dealing with digital legacy head on, and they're doing it by the book. It's a sign of the times, really.
Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway here is this. The digital afterlife, it's not some abstract thing anymore. It's real. We all need to be thinking about it.
And more importantly, we have a say in how it all plays out. Charonium, they're providing the tools, giving us control over our digital legacies. But it's up to us to decide, how do we want to be remembered in this digital world? It's something to think about, isn't it?
It really is. Lots to ponder. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, happy diving, everyone.